openly gay men and women from serving. The California judge issued that nationwide injunction to block enforcement of the policy, but what's next? Alicia Menendez with the New Democrat Network joins us, and Roll Call TV's Robert Trainum are here. Okay, so the government has 60 days to file an appeal, but I think, you can definitely argue that would carry some risk, given that some polls show 70% of Americans oppose Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and of course there's a core Democratic constituency that's strongly against it. Alicia, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think that when you get into the legal nuance of this, whether it's a stay, whether they actually file an appeal, first of all, it's important to remember the DOJ does operate separately from the Obama administration. They will make a decision at DOJ about what they want to do. Bottom line here, Chris, this has to happen legislatively. We have lame duck session coming up. It would be an incredibly tight schedule on which they would need to review this new report that's coming out. They would need to pass the defense bill with this repealed in the Senate. They'd have to reconcile it with the House, and then it would actually have to pass.
Which they had difficulty with that.
A lot of difficulty doing, but it came down to a very split vote. I think that's what we might see the second time around.
Robert, do you think we could push this through in a lame duck session? What do you think is going to happen here?
Probably not. Look, politically speaking, the Democrats are pretty much in a box on this, and the reason why, as you mentioned a few moments ago, Chris, there's a large majority of folks that believe that discriminating against gays and lesbians that serve our country in uniform is horrific. And so what the Obama administration has to figure out is whether or not they're going to appeal this, and if in fact they do appeal it, it very well may go to the Supreme Court. And if it does go to the Supreme Court, it looks like the Supreme Court most likely would uphold this overturn, if you will. And so again, if you take a look at the politics of this, I'm not sure that the DOJ, which does in the process, obviously is separate from the Obama administration, but in reality, they do take their cues from the White House, at least on these type of issues, most likely will let this lay and let this policy fade away.
All right, can we talk about Carl Palladino a little bit? Of course, he is the candidate for governor in New York and found himself in some hot water when he made some comments regarding gays. In fact, even his nephew, who he was saying, I have a nephew who's gay, but really I'm only against gay marriage, but even his nephew wasn't buying that. He issued an apology. This is an excerpt from the letter. I sincerely apologize for any comment that may have offended the gay and lesbian community or their family members. Any reference to branding an entire community based on a small representation of them is wrong. Do you think that this is over for Palladino, or do you think it's hurt him? What do you think, Robert?
This definitely has hurt him. He looks homophobic. He looks out of touch, not only with the American people on this issue in terms of the quote-unquote brainwashing, but also obviously out of sync with his potential constituents all across New York, not just New York City. And so this probably is his Achilles heel, because it's an insight to what he's thinking overall, not just about gays and lesbians, but minorities in general. This is not a good thing for him at all going into the November elections.
All right, Robert Trainum, thanks to you. Roll Call TV, Alicia Menendez, thank you for coming in. It's good to see both of you. Back to that breaking news, because every time the siren sounds, we head back out to